Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new, my name is Patty and I would like to welcome you. Today I'm going to talk with you about how to get this yarn onto this knitting needle. You can't knit your project unless you get this yarn onto here. That's the way it goes. So I'm going to show you what is called a knitted cast on. I think it's the easiest cast on for a beginner because it simulates what you will do when you're actually knitting, and so rather than having to learn a whole bunch of things at one time, we're going to do things that are familiar, and we'll do other cast ons later. But for today, let's just take a look at how to do the knitted cast on. So in my last video, I showed you how to do a slip knot. And if you need to review that, I will link to it in the upper corner. But for now, we're just going to run through and do it. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my needle. And now I have yarn attached to my needle. When we're knitting, we always have a left needle and we have a right needle. And the right needle is what we call the working yarn or the working needle. And this side is basically what's holding our project. And what we're doing when we're knitting is essentially we are transferring the project from this needle to this needle. But the very first step is to get that first foundation row onto the left needle, and this is what we call a cast on. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you have plenty of yarn, and we're going to cast on 10 stitches. Okay, and I'm going to do this like really super slow so you can see what's happening. Here's the big thing. You want to make sure that you have your tail over out of the way and make sure that your working yarn is over here to your right hand side. You're going to take the needle that's in your right hand and you're going to come underneath the left needle. See how it's making like an X? Let's see if you can see that. See how I'm just coming in through there? That's all we're doing. It's underneath the project through the slip knot, just like that. And we're going to hold it in place, and then we're going to take this working yarn and then I'm going to wrap it counterclockwise onto that right needle, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that piece of yarn through, and now you see how it's on the right needle, and you're going to pull through and you're going to put it back onto the left hand needle, and then you pull down. The first couple of stitches are always a little bit fiddly. That's just the nature of the way it goes. Okay, so we're going to now do it again. Stick the right needle through the loop under the left needle. Take the working yarn. We're going to wrap it counterclockwise around the right needle, which is in the back, and then we're taking this tip, and see how I'm going to just pull it, and I pull it through, and then we're going to lay it right on that left needle. Okay? Coming in through, and then we're going to wrap, and again using this tip to grab that yarn and just pull it right through. Okay, and then we're going to put it onto the left needle, and you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, so we want to go for 10. Let's do 10. Okay, wrap and pull through. And I'm going to try, let me see if I can show, and you can see how I'm doing just that little twist. Okay. Let me see, I'm going to see if I can show this to you from a little bit different angle. Let's come in a little bit closer here. So see how I'm underneath? Did you see that? It's underneath. And now I'm taking that working yarn and I'm wrapping it counterclockwise. And then let's see if I can really get this. See how that tip is taking that yarn and bringing it through? That's how you make a knit stitch. It's just one of those things that it's going to feel really, really weird. You're going to be a little frustrated. It's going to be strange. You just have to do it a few times. Okay, so I wrapped it around. And let's see. I'm pulling it through, just like that. Now let's count and see what we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we want to do 3 more. And then see, just underneath. Come up and close here. That's how it looks from above. That's what you'll be seeing as you're knitting. This is how it looks underneath. Okay, and then I'm using this left index finger just to kind of hold the stitch in place. And then I'm going to take this yarn and wrap it around. See how it's wrapped around? And then this tip is pulling through. And then we just put it back on the needle. So I'm essentially making a loop with a net, and then I'm just putting it back onto the needle. And that's how we're creating our first row of knitting, which is our cast on row. Okay, and let's see what we've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, there's our 10 stitches. Now, I don't want to get too deep into this. A lot of people do not like to use the slip knot as their first stitch on knitting, but for a beginner, it's like literally, I think it's the simplest way. But see how I just fiddled with it a little bit and it neatened up. You're going to want to play with your yarn a little bit to get everything where it needs to be. And something else I want to add is when you're doing the stitches, it takes a little bit of time and practice to get these even. A tendency that we all have when we start is that we want to do this like super tight, and you don't have to do that. What we're looking for is snug and even, not strangled. So if I can just impart one thing to you today, that would be it, is just nice and even and snug without strangling your yarn. And if you can do that, you will be well ahead of everything. So, okay, that's what I have for you on this video. That is the knitted cast on. You can run the video in super slow motion. There are little buttons for that at the bottom of the video if you need it even slower. So, but hopefully that will help you. Just go ahead and get started. I do recommend a bulky weight yarn and a heavy needle, and what I'm using here is called a size 6 weight of yarn, and then this is an 11 needle, I believe. Yes, this is a size 11, but you could do a 13 or a 15. And if you need help reading needle packages or understanding how to read a yarn label, I have a video for that, and I'm going to link over to that for you now. Okay, that is what I have for you on this video. I sure appreciate you watching, and stick around. We're going to do the whole scarf project as part of this process.